Senior sport reporter Chris Reeve caught up with Peter Burling from the Black Foils ahead of the regatta. This is sailGP happening in Auckland next weekend. We've got the boys here with sport in a second. First, take a look at this.
Yeah, we've always been very confident we'd be on the water here. I mean, sailGP Technologies and the whole tech team as a whole are doing an amazing job keeping all the boats in one piece and back together. So, yeah, that confidence is growing as well. You know, we saw the boat arrive and get shipped out to CTEC where they're putting the new piece on, and the stern's already here as well, so that arrived a couple of days ago. So yeah, it's cool to see it all happening. I mean, obviously there's some complications around getting the physical parts to New Zealand in time, so that part's all gone well. So I'm sure the team will do an awesome job finishing it off now. I wouldn't say it's the biggest job they've had to do. I think the challenge for them has just been the time frame in terms of not having to take parts off existing boats and take a step backwards for the rest of the program. So it's been pretty impressive to see them build the whole thing from scratch and turn that around in whatever's been like a 10-day period and get that shipped down to New Zealand to make the boat. So yeah, pretty cool to see how quickly they've been able to build the whole thing from scratch. So yeah, awesome effort by that whole team. I mean, biggest job's a big thing because obviously a lot of parts have just get fully replaced if they have major damage. So where our boat's not in too bad a shape.
Have you watched the incident back and I guess your thoughts on that and sort of if you've seen it a few more times?
Yeah, definitely seen it a few more times. It seems to pop up everywhere. Yeah, for us, we still don't really agree with the call, but you've got to live by what the umpires say. So, tough break in that regard. But I think also we're really hoping that the league can learn from the incident in terms of how we can keep the boats apart, how kind of all the teams are operating with one another, and we're really hoping there's some good change in that regard.
Will you get any extra time to, I guess, recommission the boat when it is ready to go? Will you get any additional hours on the water?
No, we won't get any additional hours, and I don't think we should need any additional hours. There's not from the electronics hydraulics point of view, where you normally need a little bit of time commissioning, there's not a massive amount attached to that back of the boat. So, yeah, there'll definitely be a fair bit of checks going on in the shed. And obviously, we'll go through a process on that first day to load it up reasonably slowly. But apart from that, that's about all you can do.
So you expect to be on the water on the first day? Off?
Yeah. We're pretty confident we'll be on the water for the training day on Friday. I mean, if you're not as well, it's a huge disadvantage. We only get events where you get a longer build-up, like say Perth, for example, where the league's doing some training days. It's obviously a lot less of a disadvantage, but if you're having to go into race one fully cold, it'd make for a pretty tough weekend. So I'm confident we're enough to do that.
That was Chris Reeve talking to Peter Burling from the Black Foils. That's next weekend in Auckland. Right, the boys are in to talk sport now. Cam McMillan from the Herald, along with Nathan Limm. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good to see you. I have to say I felt terrible for those Super Rugby players, or Pacific, whatever it is, who had to answer field questions about the All Blacks coaching situation yesterday, and you were asking them, Nathan.
Yeah, well, you journalists, you have to ask the big questions, Ryan, as you know. But yeah, look, we've got months to talk about Super Rugby. There's an All Blacks coaching issue, just slight one, going on at the moment. So yeah, all the players were getting asked about, the situation and sort of how they're managing it going on in the background. Because you'd imagine it would be pretty distracting if you are one of the All Blacks and I suppose your team is under this amount of, All Blacks are always under scrutiny, but this sort of period of unknown where we don't know who's going to be taking the team forward with a tour of South Africa coming up this year, a Rugby World Cup next year, and you sort of can't avoid it at this stage. So yeah, the players were sort of asked those questions, and with the applications for the All Blacks coaching role closing yesterday, there is potential that we could have a new All Blacks coach in the next couple of weeks, so it's very topical.
Right, so the timeline is potentially that tight.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think that's what we're hearing. It could be in a couple of weeks, mainly because, I don't know, maybe there's not as many applicants.
Yeah.
We do know that, when they made the decision to part ways with Scott Robertson, Jamie Joseph, he is under contract with NZR. So he is an option, and he is a solid option. They've put it out there to see if anyone else is keen.
We haven't got any confirmed reports, but we believe it could be between Jamie Joseph and Dave Rennie. So maybe in the next couple of weeks there'll be interviews with the board and David Kirk, and then they'll make a decision. So yeah, these guys have been dusting off their CVs, and now they've got to impress the board, I guess.
Nathan, I quite liked Fabian Holland's answer when it must have been you asking him about, what is your comment, and he said, "I've got my Highlanders hat on today, not my All Blacks cap."
Yeah, he was really good. Fabian Holland sort of, putting the question aside, and I said, well, if you've got your Highlanders cap on, what do you think about your Highlanders coach, Jamie Joseph, being the All Blacks coach? He sort of smirked and said, I can't comment on that, which is fair enough. But yeah, interesting time, but he played it well.
Now, cricket, the 2020 World Cup starts this weekend. Black Caps have just lost a series against India. Have we got a chance, Cam?
I think so, yeah. I mean, India are the best team. It is going to be played in India and Sri Lanka, and I think all of India's games are going to be at home, so they will have that home advantage. But New Zealand always seem to rise in World Cup events. They do have a new coach, though, so under Rob Walter, it's going to be interesting how they go at a World Cup. But they've got a pretty easy-ish group. I mean, Afghanistan, they're a bit of a banana peel. You never know what you got against them. But they've also got Canada, UAE, and South Africa. So you'd think there's a few easy beats. Top two go through to the Super 8s. So I like their chances of at least getting to the semi-finals, and then anything can happen in T20.
I would see this first game against Afghanistan as potentially the hardest in their pool, given Afghanistan beat New Zealand at the last World Cup, went all the way to the semi-finals. So, and they are going to feel right at home in sort of Indian conditions, very similar pitches to what they're used to playing on. So if they can get through this first game, then they're in a very, very good position to make the Super 8.
Now, the Winter Olympics are starting. Who knew about it?
I knew.
Yeah, I know.
I've done a big feature today about all our medal chances, but it does creep up. It does creep up, and it's great. You get to see these sports that you never see, every 4 years you get to see. They've had issues overnight. I think there was Russian hackers tried to get into the computer system in the hotels. Apparently they were thwarted. I think the key card still works, so athletes are allowed to move around. And there's heavy snow, so they can't train at the moment. The skiers, the downhill skiers, didn't get a chance to get down the hill because there was too much snow. But yeah, it kicks off tomorrow. There's some Kiwis competing in the snowboarding tomorrow, and then yeah, really a top medal chance on Monday morning, probably with Zoe Sadowski-Synnott in action.
Brilliant. And because the last time, did we get 3 medals? Last time?
Yeah, 3 medals. Yeah, Zoe Sadowski-Synnott and Nico Porteous. So Nico Porteous is not returning. He's not retired. He's just not competing at the Olympics. But I think this could be potentially be our best games. Sadowski-Synnott could get 2 medals, and then we've got these 2 twins, Finn Melville-Ives and his brother, obviously his twin Cam Melville-Ives. One of them's a snowboarder, one of them's a skier. They're a good chance, and Luca Harrington is also another chance. And then Alice Robinson, she was in great form at the end of last year, and it's kind of dropped off a bit. But you just, if she keeps that form, finds that form again, could be a chance.
Fingers crossed.
I actually think that snow sport in New Zealand needs a lot of plaudits for the way they've developed snow sports in New Zealand, because pre-2018 we'd only won 1 medal at the Winter Olympics total in New Zealand's history, and since 2018 we're now in a position where we've got potentially 6 or 7 medal opportunities and a group of 17 athletes that are going to the competition. So the way they've been able to sort of develop the sport area as a whole, I suppose, over 8 years has been fantastic.
Brilliant. Hey, finally, the State of O could be coming to Eden Park. What's this about? Yeah,
so a report out of Australian media overnight, the New Zealand government has secured a multi-million-dollar deal for State of Origin to be played at Eden Park in 2027. I have reached out to the government to try to confirm these reports, but it was sort of widely tipped beforehand, so this would sort of be confirmation of that. But yeah, a massive it could be a massive opportunity for the New Zealand economy. You'd imagine a lot of Australians would come over for it. And New Zealanders, for whatever reason, love State of Origin and really get amongst it.
They do.
New South Wales or Queensland. So it would be a massive event for all.
But what, is it weird that it would be held outside of, is it normally only ever held in Queensland or New South Wales, or have they held it in other?
In the past, since 2018, they've had neutral venues like Melbourne, Adelaide, and Perth. Okay. But they haven't been overseas since '87. They took an exhibition game to California, I think. But the thing about having it in New Zealand is that local time is going to be like a 9:30 kickoff. That's pretty late. Don't have many kids going on a school night as well, maybe.
Yeah. It would be nice if we're hosting it to have it at a normal time for us, but please the Aussies.
You've got to suit their broadcasting deals, don't you? Hey, good to see you both this morning. Thanks so much for coming in. That is our sports lads, Cameron McMillan from the Herald, along with Nathan Limm.